Okay then folks, here we are, ready to go with Tcr Uk for the 2024 season. There are a few changes to the race weekend format, there are a few new faces, and there's a new car, one that has a few tin top fans in the UK drooling, but more on those in a moment. First off, the grid is smaller this year. Less money being spent is a trend in tin top racing across the globe. Whether it's TCR Europe, World Tour, BTCC, supercars, it's hit everyone. I have a video about it all here, and it's based on being a professional working journalist working full-time in two different touring car paddocks. There are other videos out there, a bit misinformed, but this one's a little longer and more informed, so if you're interested, have a look and it'll explain a few things. Okay, things that are changing. Well, the noticeable things, the important ones for the fans are more races on the weekend, the ballast system, tyres and the Gen 1 Cup. Before we dig into drivers and the expected front runners, we'll look at that. In previous seasons, Tcr Uk has added success ballast, the correct term is compensation rate based on qualifying times from the previous round. For 2024, it will be based on total points scored the previous race weekend, which is a bit easier to remember. And remember, the balance of performance is based on all official competitions governed by TCR internationally. Two things here, a new to TCR construction. According to Goodyear, TCR cars require a slightly different tyre to BTCC cars because the ideology behind the suspension on the two types of cars is slightly different. But as Goodyear safe to say, a bit of money. TCR this year will run on the new British Touring Car Championship medium tyre with the NGTC based tyre construction, apart from at Thruxton where the field will run on hard tyres. Naturally there'll be time comparisons, but remember these tyres are specifically designed for the BTCC, so don't read too much into the difference in times between the two championships because they're there for one and not the other. And I'm hypocritical a bit there because I'll be looking into it. That's what you're doing it. Race weekends will change. Instead of practice and qualifying on Saturday and two races on Sunday, there will now be qualifying and race one on a Saturday with two races on a Sunday, so that's three races on a weekend. Apart from Oulton Park, where as usual qualifying and two races will take place on Saturday with no Sunday action, it's a one-day meeting. Overall it means there'll be 20 races this year instead of the 15 across 7 meetings from last season, and the races have been reduced in length from 25 to 20 minutes. The Gen 1 Cup. Newer cars are closer to being bespoke race cars. No matter what balance of performance through engine power or ride height is used, most older cars are slower. So for this season, a championship within a championship happens. The Gen 1 Cup for older cars, well, the older generation cars. But instead of going through the rules and the international list of cars that are eligible, we'll look at the cars that we know running in the championship that will race in the Gen 1 Cup. And they are the Vauxhall or Opel Astra, the Volkswagen Golf, first generation Audi RS3, the original Seat Leon and the Gen 1 Cooper Leon. Same car, are they? The Hyundai i30 and Honda Civic FK7 are not in the Gen 1 Cup. Right, that's the changes out of the way. Now, the drivers, the things to look forward to and predictions from Touring Car magazine. And you know what? I expect it to be really competitive this year, and I think almost everybody has at least a chance for a race win in their class. And the same goes for the Diamond Trophy for over 40s, although I do think there's only going to be one driver who will take that crown. Like the overall championship. Defending champion Carl Bawdy returns in his Cooper Leon, run by his CBM outfit with Nick Hart GT. Don't expect anything other than a robust defence of his championship for 2024. The former BTCC racer took 4 wins last season, well, 4 official wins, because track limit rules made sure that he was stripped of a few points last year. But there will be wins this year, and I'm sure he'll be a favourite to carry the number 1 on for a second season. I also think he's going to take the Diamond Trophy quite easily. But the overall crown, pile of wins and some proper door-to-door touring car racing is what we're going to get. Carl Newsham returns with GH Racing in his i30 and Darren Lewis shifts across to the team also in an i30. Newsham was seriously fast last season and just seemed to have horrendous, and I mean seriously horrendous luck. Whenever there was a chance at a good result, something just seemed to go wrong. Like at Oulton Park, where a series of tech problems from failing components ruined any chance of good points. Really, it should have been a victory or more, but everything that could go wrong did. This season, however, those wins will come. Darren Lewis struggled in the older RS3 last year a partial champion, but at the Snetterton Major he did see his lap times out of the box in his newly acquired i30 were a couple of seconds up on those he posted in the Audi last season. The Diamond Trophy is where he's hoping to make his mark this time around. Brad Hutchison returns, but MPH of a new, but not new car for him. The 2-year journey with the Gen 1 RS3 is over, and it's time for a Cupra Leon. And it's the one that he raced at Donington last year as a one-off, where he went from the back of the grid with a 10-second penalty to 6th, and then 6th to 1st the second race, before having the victory stripped from him for ride height. But he's a definite challenger to the crown this time around, and the car is looking stunning. Joe Marshall is returning with Rob Boston Racing. The former Ginetta racer debuted in 2023 in the series with the new Gen Audi RS3. It was a car that last season arrived in great numbers, but no one seemed to be able to fully understand it. From what I was told by a couple of drivers, those cars are simply not suited to Tcr Uk tracks, but with the year of data and experience under the belt, I expect it to be a very different story this season from Marshall. The 3 podiums last year and incredible consistency, yeah, they'll be built on top of this year, and there will be a trip to the top of the podium. We all know Adam Shepherd is fast, like really fast, and all he needs is the car and the budget to really set things alight. Over the last couple of seasons he's had his head buried down the back of the sofa looking for spare change to run his old i30, which actually is one of the oldest i30 TCR cars in the world. And he's been competitive in a car that perhaps shouldn't be, but from what he told us that will change with his chance to run a Cupra Leon this year. But again, the budget's going to be a bit of a struggle. Barring new car niggles, he should be quick from the off, and he'll be topping up his wins column. Luke Sargent plans for a partial season again after his rookie year in the Hyundai Elantra. That's Hyundai, not Hyundai, Hyundai. He's switching to the car of choice for UK tracks, the Cupra Leon. There's an in-depth interview in the current issue of Touring Car magazine where he points out that he wouldn't be here if he didn't think he could win. The start of his season is kicked off with a bit of a prank for his new steed at Donington Park when current or coming up BTC series has got something kind of like damage. But once up and running, expect to see some flat-out action, and don't rule out seeing him on the top step of the board. Perhaps the most experienced driver on the grid, Gary Townsend, returns with his Gen 2 Audi RS3. Like Joe Marshall, he has a year running the car behind him. Will there be an overall victory? Will there be Diamond Trophy wins? But you know what? With that car and that level of a long racing career and knowledge, by my reckoning, watch out for him at Thruxton. Because there's quite a few drivers in the field with limited or no running at the venue, and they'll be shocked by what the touring car needs on tyres different to what they'll run for the rest of the year to be hustled around there. So experience is going to count. So yeah, keep an eye out. The unicorn car is the Lincoln Co. 03. We've been waiting for it to arrive in the UK for a long time, and finally it has, with a pair being run by Pro Alloys Racing. Hasn't kicked off as smooth as what we wanted to, but it will pick up during the year. Civic Cup racer Ryan Bensley will run the car for most of the season, but TCR racer Victor Anderson will open the year at Brands Hatch. I can't predict this one, except once things are running, and we'll know soon enough, that this is going to be, well, it's a kick-ass car, isn't it? After 2 tough partial seasons, the BDCC, Will Powell will return to the TCR fold in a Honda Civic FK7 with support from Yas with his Sport 77 outfit. Here, like Bordley, Will didn't set the BTCC grid on fire, but in that hyper-competitive environment, you come away with a fairly solid skill set, and I fully expect that to transfer. It's strange with the FK7. That type of car won this title in 2022, just 18 months ago. It is not uncompetitive, but neither is it a Gen 1 or a Gen 2 machine. It's been superseded by the FL5 Civic. It's still a race-winning car, and with Powell on board, it should be up front on a regular basis, and a return to winning ways that he had in endurance racing is what you'd expect. Joining Powell at the squad will be Alex Jones, who will make his racing debut in the second half of the year with the hope of impacting the results of the Diamond Trophy. Switching to the Gen 1 Cup, will stick with Powell's Sport 7017. They'll be running an Audi RS3 Gen 1 for Cedric Block, a former Supersport bike racer who was paralysed from the chest down at Snetterton in 2021. He raced an adapted car at first in TCR Uk, and I think it's a journey that a lot of Tin Tap fans are going to follow. Another new addition to the grid in the Gen 1 Cup will be Will Beach, who will run VW Golf with Capture Motorsport. Jeff Alden returns, again in the DW Opel Astra. Mark Smith in a Cupra. Is it a Seat Leon? It's got the seat badge on the front. He also comes back. And of course, Rick Kelly's committed to a new season, a full season with the Scooter Leon, which has had a total overhaul by EDF Motorsport. So you know if Eddie's had a go of it, it's going to be a solid car. There'll be a few drivers who'll come in for a part of season 2. It's actually going to be a really interesting category to watch this season, Gen 1. On top of that, there's a dedicated support package once again. For TCR fans, you'll be seeing Josh Files and Luke Kent in the Civic Cup. That's going to be really interesting. You add in the Audi TT series and the Fiesta Juniors and a host of other championships appearing at some rounds, it should turn out to be another decent year. As for the calendar, kick-off this weekend back to Brands Indy where we ended last year. The full Snetterton layout will be used in Oulton Park, Croft and back to the Silverstone National layout. But there will also be a return to Silverstone International for the first time since 2021 and a first ever visit to Thruxton, which is going to be a blast. Touring Car Magazine will be there for it all. You can follow the channel to find out what happens at each round in TCR and BTCC, from the track, from the paddock, from trackside. This is where you like and subscribe, and you can read about it by checking out Touring Car Magazine over at motorracinguk.com or on our social channels. So then, it's up to Brands Hatch for me, which is a bloody long drive. Ta-ta for now. See you there.